on PS3, and they're both screaming they can't get on.
Jesus.
They're trying to redeem their
Like, we
gift
should
cards
set up-
that they got. I knew this was
We
going to
should
happen.
set
I
up
gave
our
them
own.
cash. I knew this sort of
We
stuff
should
was
set up our
happening.
own. We should start up our own video game simulation of all the classic radio shows. We'll put my radio show into it. We'll put Bob's radio show into it. We'll put your radio show into it. And we'll compete for rating supremacy. That'll be the backdrop of the game. Which show will reign supreme? That's what we should do, because that's where the money is. You know, can you imagine playing as Chuck Skull and Jonathan Clarke in a fantasy battle for rating supremacy? And you'd have to get your own guests and line up your show schedule.
I've got the ultimate cheat code for that, because I can call Lemmy.
Or Dragon, whichever comes first.
Yeah, I could call my brother Dragon, but I mean, I could call Lemmy, and, you know, having God on as a guest.
There you go. I would
love to.
Go ahead.
I would love to interview Jesus, but anyway, Bob, what were you saying?
you with that, you know, you gotta know one thing though about Chuck, especially with his old time radio show. I mean, you know, he's got probably the fastest growing show on the network. I mean, you know, he's already branched out into syndication already, so it would be kind of hard for our shows to really compete with Chuck, who's getting offers all the time from different networks to have his show represent the network there.
And that's the thing. I get a lot of
they're playing my shows with our commercials.
There you go.
That's the thing. The offers that people will extend to you for these radio shows that are produced just for the fun of it are unbelievable. I didn't think I was going to get as far as what I did with over 1,000 shows and 800 interviews. It just was a pastime. I don't want to be involved with a major network or anything like a major syndicated FM radio network. I just do it for fun. And that's the thing, you know, and that's why we get criticized so much. I was talking to Bob about this before we even went on air. People would rather criticize us because we have gotten somewhere with it. We have interviewed the Legions of Dooms. We have interviewed the John Cenas, the Randy Ortons, the first, second-generation superstars, the $1 Million Mans, the Stone Cold Steve Austins. It's ridiculous how people criticize us for doing something that we like to do. And it's only because they don't do it themselves.
Oh, it's funny as hell, because I'm back here up by Boston. You know, I left Hollywood and came back here, and people are, like, talking to me, and, you know, I'll go through electronics, and I'll start laughing, because all of a sudden they get one of my old stinkers in the $5 bin. Some biker
you know what?
movie I did in the 80s. Or, you know, I laugh because I've been killed by 2 governors. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, I've been killed by Jess Ventura and Schwarzenegger.
I would love to be able to be in a match. I think a dream match of everybody would be Jonathan Clarke versus John Cena. I would love for that match to happen. I would love to go one-on-one with John Cena. I may lose, but I would just love for that to happen, just get a crack at John Cena for the frustration he's caused me.
Yeah.
You know why? Because that's the reason your shit is in the $5 bin. That's why. Because these people are taking away from what you created, what you did.
Oh, no. I don't mind it being in the $5 bin. You don't get it. These are films that were made basically for Showtime to show at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Low-budget biker flicks, women in prison flicks. I mean, that was most of my career. I mean, okay, I did a lot of cult films. I worked on a lot of those, like Ed Wood and Hell Comes to Frogtown and the Oingo Boingo's Forbidden Zone. I worked on the first couple of Puppet Master films. I'm in the third Evil Dead film. You know, and I see this stuff show up in the bargain bin, and that gives me a good laugh. It's like, okay, somebody bothered to print more copies.
Evil Dead is an awesome movie.
Yeah,
I
was a couple of Deadites in that. I was a couple of couple of the Deadites when they're storming the castle.
That's an awesome movie, and because you told me that, you have now worked your way into my alumni of everybody I've interviewed. I'll put you in that for the next couple of days. That was a really good movie. I thank you for that, by the way. Thank you for your contribution to that. That was probably one of the best trilogies that I have interviewed in a long time. So now, Bob, you have two potential candidates now to actually take over if anything ever happens to me. You have Sonny and you have this Chuck Skull guy. So you're not lost if I do retire after 15 years.
There you go. There you go. I got Chuck Skull, who is already a veteran of Hollywood. I got, of course, you already know I got there with Sonny Cruz, who is going to be the future Jonathan Clarke, I guess.
And you got me under Legends contract coming back every couple of months. So you got something going.
Yeah. So here's the big Christmas question your ladies have for you right now. What is Jonathan Clarke doing in? Here, I'm sure these ladies are asking, what is Jonathan Clarke doing in between those times that you're not doing a show on the network?
What's Jonathan Clarke doing in between those times that he's not on the network? Jonathan Clarke is always doing something for radio. He's always coming up with something to do or someone to annoy the hell out of. The thing about me is I've always had some form of way of contacting people. Despite what may be going on in my personal life, it's either a YouTube video or it's a written column or it's me writing somebody on social media just to try to get a hold of them for the Wacko Network or some other radio show. I'm always doing something. And I always put what goes on in my personal life to the side. That's the thing. Like, my dad committed suicide back in February of this year, and, I have to deal with that. But despite having to deal with that, which is another part, I just look at that as another part of my life that I'll probably write about if I ever get a chance to write a book on everybody that I've interviewed. Just the other day, a good friend of mine told me, you should write a book because of everything that you've done. I choose to look at it, yes, as something that happened to me, but the thing is, it's just a part of my life. I'm not going to allow myself to get depressed over it or anything. I'm just going to keep coming back in some way or another. Regardless, if I go away after this Christmas special, which has been so fun, we've got Chuck Skull, we've got you, we've got people listening on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+. If I go away and don't come back for 6 months, I know that when I come back in 6 months, people are not going to forget who I am. That's the thing that I want to do. I want to make sure that people don't forget who I am. And if I can do that, I'm happy. I said, that's what I want to do, and that's what I keep trying to do. And thanks for that question, by the way, Bob. Who asked that?
No, that was me figuring your ladies would want to know what's going on in the world of Jonathan Clarke.
What's going on in the world of Jonathan Clarke. That's what's going on.
Yeah, and and I'll tell you, as far as Christmas goes, I mean, we're giving the ladies a gift here just so they can hear Jonathan Clarke on the air. But I will say though, man, that Christmas, what a surprise we get here on Christmas. I mean, BTR already gave me a few surprises already, and but I'm surprised at what some of the people just social sites let you see things that you wouldn't normally see every day on Christmas before the social sites. I just got through looking at someone who, just because they're a big fan of a Charlie Brown Christmas, they're showing me how they had their nails done. They have their nails done, and they have Charlie Brown and Snoopy and all them on them. And I'm like, God, I mean, talk about an obsession for something.
You want to know what an obsession about something is? I saw a guy on Facebook, since we're talking about obsessions, I saw a guy on Facebook who had his mustache shaved, now get this, shaved in the shape of the Batman logo.
Oh, my God.
Shaved in the shape of the Batman logo. And I thought my character was ridiculous with what I used to do for the last 10 or 11 years. I came on the internet in 2004, 5 years after I started doing it, with this character who claimed that he was the legitimate best-looking man in the world. Now, who in the hell was going to believe that? A guy sitting behind his computer doing video blogs, being the best-looking man in the world. I thought I was ridiculous. At least I didn't go out and shave my mustache in the shape of the Batman logo or get Mickey Mouse tattooed on my back, like a lot of people have done. And I blame it on stuff like Twilight and stuff like how crazy some people are, and Freddy Krueger and stuff like that. People are nuts. Why would somebody go out and get Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees tattooed all over their body? It's ridiculous.
No, I actually know some people that have gotten those tattoos, and got one friend who actually contemplated getting the hockey mask tattooed on his face, but he couldn't find a tattooist to do it in L.A.
Oh, jeez.
Unbelievable.
That makes me
But
want
then again,
to
I
get a
used to DJ at a
tattoo.
goth club. I used to DJ at a goth club, so I know people who have filed their teeth.
That's another
These
racket
extruders
that is
file.
absolutely. That's another racket that has got me completely worn out to the point of no return, because I help a good buddy of mine out with DJing as an assistant, getting music for him and stuff, and that racket is just totally outrageous. I hate when it becomes like 12, 1 o'clock, and then all this really messed up shit gets played. I said this before on the network, and how outrageous people are at these clubs. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like, what point are you trying to make when you're ossified and you don't know what you're doing? What do you think you're doing? Acting like all you're doing is making yourself look like an idiot. I understand getting out on the floor and dancing to a certain song that you may have waited the whole night for, to come on.